Yo, 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 it's your host, Spinanks, Another's Normal Podcast, back at you with another episode, man.
Sure, what's good, my G?
Yo, man, you know we had to spin a
that
block.
Sounded good.
Yeah, you know, I had to spin a block with my boy Nick Creegan. Before we get into that, I just want to shout out GBA. You know, I'm always grind, build, achieve. On Instagram, grind, build, achieve. I think it's an underscore somewhere in there. Y'all get the point. Shout out to Greenleaf. Shout out to Polymath Network over here. My boy, he over here in the cut. Yeah, he, you know, light skin. You know, couldn't be too light skin, man. You can't have too much light skin on the camera. But, you know, more above too. Shout out to me for holding it down for the dark skin brothers too, because, you know, it get a little crazy when it's too much light skin going on. I think I'm holding it down. See, as I'm sitting next to Terrence Howard over here.
You know what's crazy?
You know,
like,
I'm holding it.
Bro, I don't even, I'm light skinned, but I'm not even in the coalition. Like, there's like, I feel like there's a light skinned coalition. I'm Jamaican, man. Like, I'm with the Jamaicans, bro.
Jamaican in what?
And Irish.
Here we go. So, see, don't leave that part. Why
Yeah,
always
but
try to leave that part
honestly,
out?
I feel like most people that identify in the light skinned coalition got two black parents that just happen to be light skinned. You feel me?
Okay.
Like Chris Brown.
Breezy.
Or Trey Songz. I don't even think Drake is light skinned. I think Drake is a chameleon. I think he tried to be anything that's popping at the moment.
Hey, don't cancel.
Drake's been Jamaican, Dominican. You know what I'm saying?
A little bit of all that.
Yeah.
But Nick Creegan, ladies and gentlemen, man, what's going on?
I'm
man?
happy to be back, bro. I'm proud of you,
too.
man.
I
Like,
appreciate it.
I'm looking around and I'm just like, this joint is really picking up. So that's what's
A
up.
lot done changed, man. I'm gonna say this before I get into it. You know, this kid here was verified before they went on sale. He had the blue check years ago, back before IG decided to put verifications on the clearance rack.
Yo, it's crazy actually.
It's so you know, quit horse playing, man. This ain't no minor league. This is real deal business. Yeah, man. So it's been a while, man. So last time I saw you was in January. You was in town. And, you know, what brings you back into town? Because I feel like you're, like, mysterious. You're like a ghost. You pop up out of nowhere. Like,
Bro,
you that guy at the bus stop. When you're there, then when the bus go by, you're gone.
Yo, I love that you even said that because that's how I've been trying to move lately.
Right.
Because I feel like social media, a lot of times, unconsciously forces us to be way more public than we need to be about every move we make.
I agree.
You know what I mean? And for me, I had to really, and I'm still trying to figure it out, like find a balance of how much I want to share and how much is oversharing. And like, you still, as a public figure, you still want to be in the mix a lot of times, but not too, like, you don't want people to think they really know you just based off what you post, you know?
And that's great because one of the things I want to ask you about, because, you know, so often, you know, when guys or not just guys, people, they get established and they make it, or they're successful as a career and they're able to make a fortune off of it or whatever it is financially. What are the downsides to success? Because, you know, on Instagram, we only see, you know, the bottles, the women, the movie roles. We see the celebrations. We see the bookings. What's some of the downsides? I had spoke to the guys over at Earn Your Leisure about this too. Like, you know, give some next up-and-coming entrepreneurs, actors, or successful business owners some tips on, you know, some different outlets, what they use to keep sane.
Well, I feel like you just you said success, right? Like, I kind of want to pivot that because success can mean so many different things to different people, right?
Absolutely.
Like, I know a baker that considers himself super successful, but nobody knows who they are publicly, right? So for me, like, public facing and, like, quote unquote, like, fame, like, if you want to call it that, I don't really like fame. I feel like fame is fleeting. Fame is man given. Like, somebody decides if you're famous,
absolutely.
right? But you might be better at something than every other person that might be visibly doing it.
Absolutely.
So I feel like the downside to fame is losing what your actual self-worth is, like equating success to fame or how many people know who you are.
Right.
Because I feel like there's a lot of people that validate themselves just based off who knows them or who is watching them and things of that nature. And it's like so many things I had to pivot and learn on my own because I feel like that joint will have you thinking, like, if you're on TV, right? You're on a show, you're going out, people are noticing you. Dudes are over there breaking
boy.
chairs.
We can't take we gotta protect him by all means. We can't take him out.
got the
Once he
cameraman.
goes, we're done. We went from chairs to cameras. What are we doing here? Hey, everything happens for a reason though, but we gotta protect him at all costs, man.
Yeah, but no, I feel like when you're on a TV show, people know you, people see you. Like when I was on Law and Order, for instance, I'll literally go out to Sweet Green and the dude making my salads like, yo, like it's messed up how they did Richie, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, bro, that's crazy, you know? Yeah. Like I'm a kid from Greenberg. It's, you know what I'm saying? Like,
trust me, I see it.
People recognize us in the gal and want to fight or something crazy.
Yeah, that was our fame right there.
Yeah.
Oh, you from Greenberg? Okay.
But whenever somebody's showing you love, people that you don't know from a hole in the wall, but they feel like they know you, it feels really good. Yeah. But you have to remember that all of that is up and down. You can't validate yourself based off any of that. So, of course not. For me, I feel like the benefit of being famous in certain people's eyes is you get to know that you're making somebody's day. Like, that's dope. You're like, oh, I'm influencing people. Like, I have a platform to influence people in whatever way I want. Like, you can give out bread or you can give out liquor. And it's like, I try to use my platform to be able to give out as much bread as I can.
Right,
like
I noticed that.
Nourishment, you know what I'm saying? But on the flip side of that, if you base your happiness off how many people are paying attention and nobody's paying attention at the moment, then you might start tripping yourself out.
Yeah, you're going to lose sight of who you are. Listening to you is giving real Eminem The Way I Am vibes. Like it's a thin line between, it's like, I guess when you're famous, it's like you're always on the clock. Yeah. So it'll turn a simple trip to Walmart into like, okay, now it's like, you know, we need time. We gotta, us as supporters, I don't really like using the word fan. I like using the word supporter.
Supporters, I like that.
It's just fan is like, a fan is what's going on right here and it's blowing air. Like,
right.
That's not
100%.
Like,
perfect example, like whatever Jonathan Majors has going on right now. You know, this dude, I don't know him personally, but publicly, he's at the top of every casting list. Creed 3, he did, you know, Lovecraft Country. He's like one of the biggest black actors in Hollywood, in the world right now, right? And then being that he's a public figure and he gets into a domestic dispute and
every other human,
you know what I mean? Like he goes through whatever he's going through, everybody knows about it. And now you're painted in a different light because of what you have going on privately. If somebody works at a bank, they're an accountant or whatever the case is, and they get into a domestic dispute, that's normal. Nobody knows who they are. Nobody cares. Yeah. But the minute you decide to be a public figure, you have to remember that whatever you do, public, private, it's all for public discussion.
Yeah, it's documented. Yeah.
You know, it's documented. Right. Whatever tweet you make, whatever move you make. So you have to know that you got to move in a way that is
militant.
You got to be in the utmost discipline, and you got to make sure that, people are watching me. I got to make sure I'm representing myself correctly at all times.
And us as supporters, we feel like, because technically me, I'm not at that light. I'm noticing, you know, as I'm publicizing myself as a podcaster, that, you know, it definitely brings a certain level of local attention. So like the other day I was at Chipotle and people were staring at me and I'm just like, yo, what the hell is going on? Like, why, you know, I'm just here to get my chicken bowl. Like, I ain't bothering nobody. Then also too, coming from my background, I don't know what attention is which. You know, when you make a lot of, because I don't believe in mistakes. I think a mistake is I'm walking down the street and I trip over a rock. That's a mistake. Anything that you do that you don't like, I feel like I believe in bad decisions.
Right.
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? So anytime I've made a lot of bad decisions, mistakes. A mistake, like I said, is my boy over here falling out the chair.
That's a mistake.
That was a mistake.
But if you consciously put your hands on somebody, if you consciously jump over something, you're choosing to do that. You can't say, "Oh, this was a mistake."
I don't agree with people saying, "Oh, you made me do this." No, there's no button. We're not puppets. There's no string I can pull that can make your hand slap me across the
One
face.
of my favorite quotes was from Mike Tyson, and he was like, "If somebody can bring you out of your zone, they're your master."
Absolutely.
If you could say, "Oh, this person makes me so angry," you're literally having them as your master, because you have to make the decision on how you let something affect you or how far you go. If somebody curses you out in the street and you punch them in the face and you get arrested, you literally, they were your master in that moment.
And then now that I'm older, you know, when it comes to like law enforcement and things of that nature, I'm gonna get back to my original point. But now that I'm older, I just feel like accountability is to seed the growth. You cannot grow unless you look in the mirror and take accountability for your actions. Anytime I got arrested, for the most part, like what goes on in the world as far as cops and what they got going on, I've never been a victim of that. Anytime they came to get up with me, it was just, you know? So if they got a job to do, and I feel like I got a job to do, that goes against what their job is, then it's gonna be conflict.
Right. There are like,
you know what I'm saying?
There are cracks in the concrete at times where you could be minding your business, and
of course.
But if you consciously, like you said, carry yourself on the upright, hopefully 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be good.
That comes with reputation, and that's what I'm teaching my son. You know, reputation is very strong, but I just feel like now reputation is being saturated with perception. Like, as long as people perceive you in a light, it don't really matter who you really are. So your reputation means nothing. It's all about perception. But, you know, I spent a large part of my life building a negative reputation. So now I got to be willing to spend just as much time as cleaning it up.
Right.
You know, it's just like credit. It's easy to 1, 2, 3, 4 missed car payments, your credit is shot. Yeah. And then it takes time unless you do, you know, this.
And that's the double-edged sword of being a human, right? Yeah. Because as a human being, like I just saw the Air movie, Michael Jordan joint. Okay, fire. I love that movie. Yeah. It's dope because one of the things that Matt Damon's character Sonny says to Jordan is like, human beings love to build somebody up from nothing. But when you get to the top of that mountain, they're going to be the same ones that are watching you on your fall down. Absolutely. But when you on your fall down, people love a comeback story. People love a rebuilding story. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that's just the way it is as a human being. Like, you got to know that if you started out on the wrong foot, the same people that were counting you out before are going to be the same people cheering for you. When absolutely. I remember I gave a commencement speech at Woodlands 10 years after I graduated. And I graduated with I was a very average student. Like, I'm sure there were teachers that I was in school with you. You know what you was doing. You know what I'm saying? There were teachers that wrote me off and were like, Nick is like, I hope the best, but he ain't going to be doing nothing.
They probably thought you would have been modeling or something like that.
Whatever. Or in trouble, just doing dumb shit, you know?
Listen, that too. Or a lot of them liked you too, bro. You know, I was there. So we gonna chill. But, you know, I know some of them was waiting for you to turn 18. But back to your point.
But what I'm saying is, like, you got to know that you have every opportunity to turn your story around. It doesn't have to be how you started. Yeah, never. But back on the fame and all that stuff, I feel like you got to understand that none of it really matters. Yeah, like, success is finding happiness and joy mostly. Mm-hmm. Like, knowing that no matter what happens, it doesn't matter what career you're in, anything could happen at any given moment. Everything could be like wiped out. Absolutely. You could come back tomorrow and a rock fell on this studio, and then you're like, fuck. All right, well, what now? It is what it is. Like, now, am I still happy though at the end of the day? Absolutely. Can I still find joy even though I can't do my show today? Mm-hmm. So that's how I look at it.
Happiness is a self-priority. Too often, people don't have other outlets to make them happy that don't include people. It's very important to find hobbies, just different ways to pick yourself up that doesn't involve people. People are always going to let you down the same way you always going to let people down. If you depend on your sole objective for happiness involves engaging with other people, you're going to, safe to say, you're going to be miserable because everybody has bad times. That phone call that you need to make so bad, that person might not be available at some time. Then what you going to do? What's your next go-to? What's your plan B to get yourself out of that slump? So venting, I'm very optimistic. I'm very, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm trying to sound smart here. Bear with me. I'm going to just say aware. I'm going to use a basic word. Sorry, guys. I'm very aware of who I vent to because the whole purpose of venting for me, I don't really do it because often our loved ones are always going to have us in mind. So whoever I'm venting to them about, 9 times out of 10, you know, they're going to find ways to make me right. Yeah. It's very rare that you find people cautious. Yes, cautious. There you go. That's another simple word, but yeah, cautious. I'm very cautious. Perfect. See? Oh man, it's too much for me. But anyway, yes, I'm very cautious because I know my loved ones, they have my interest at heart. And part of them, and when I say my interest at heart, really love, not necessarily my interest, because I feel like if you have my interest at heart, you're going to be like, yo, listen, my dude, you're the problem in this situation.
Right.
A lot of times our loved ones want to make everything's
biased.
Right.
Like,
so that's at that point, if I'm looking to you for answers, I'm fucked.
right.
Because I'm not going to get those answers from you. And that's why you have to be able to pull yourself up.
I was just talking to this with a lady that I'm dating.
Yeah, shout out to her.
And yeah, shout out to her. She's cool. She, we were talking about a disagreement we had. As an adult, as a mature adult, you can have a disagreement
Peacefully.
and peacefully and not have it be like a disrespectful
Yeah.
shouting match or whatever the case is.
Right.
So we were talking about how if I tell a close friend about what we're talking about and she tells somebody else that she's close to, it's gonna be two opposing views.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna be like, well, you're actually right in this situation because of
Right.
X, Y, and Z. The other person's gonna tell her the same thing.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you're, like you said, when you're asking for actual real advice for self-betterment,
Right.
or like what the actual
Is that a word?
yeah
Betterment?
betterment.
Shame
yeah.
on me for questioning you.
Nah, you good, bro. You heard
Betterment.
like you said, we
I
heard to
never heard
learn.
that
You know
word.
what I'm
You heard
saying?
that word? Betterment. I
So
like that. Go ahead.
you basically got to know that sometimes you're gonna hear stuff that you might not want to hear from
Right.
people you love, but those are the people you want in your corner.
Those are the
you don't
people-
want yes men all the time.
No, sir.
You gotta have people that around you that's gonna be like, yo,
You stink,
you're
bro.
wildin'.
Go
Yeah.
jump your ass in the shower
Yeah,
before I let
exactly.
you walk outside and
Right.
everybody at the Ferris game is like, oh my God.
Exactly.
Somebody go to the local store and give
Yeah,
them some
yeah,
deodorant.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
the motherfucker that you want around you.
Right.
And that's funny. Cause like I'm a huge advocate of peace. People don't know how to peacefully disagree at all. It's like your way. It's like you either Biggie or you Tupac. It's
Right.
like, bro, can we just
Some nuance in there.
let's
you know.
because I mean I'm pretty sure everybody in this room has been in a situation where they get into it with their female or their girl, their wife, their wifey, their baby moms, whatever you want to classify as, and you got the aux cord. Mid-argument, it's going to turn into a versus. Like, you ever been in a situation where you get into it and now y'all not talking and then you feel like every song she plays is aimed directly at the situation
Right.
y'all going through? That's when you get the Lauryn Hill X Factors.
Yeah.
I done been through it. It gets real Gucci Man Jeezy. It get nasty. Then next thing is your turn to get the aux. Then you want to play I Don't Want No Pigeons, or you want to get into some Usher Confessions type vibe. It just get real. It get ugly.
Yeah.
So it's shout out to that. We got to learn how.
Or when
to,
they bring it to social media, people
Yeah.
bring. Every time I'm on Instagram stories or Twitter, and I see people just doing random tweets, or it's like, yo, you think you're being subliminal, but you're telling everybody your business pretty much.
It's like it go from friend to foe real quick,
Yeah.
especially with women. Like we're so.
Yeah, when it comes to romance, for whatever reason, people love venting publicly.
Yeah. I don't get it. Nobody gives a fuck. It's entertainment.
People get entertained from your problems. They're not really gonna
they're
help
not
you.
trying
They're
to-
not gonna tell you like, yo, don't even share this. Like, let's talk. Let's be. What they're gonna do is they're gonna send that same tweet or that Instagram story to somebody else so they can laugh about it and forget about their own problems.
And this is why I gotta, just give thanks to the guy off the camera, Mr. Angelo Scarfone, because every time he comes in here, he makes some sort of technical modification that is genius. It's simple but genius, but you need stuff like that because he could easily let us record 2 hours of just nothing and then came and then laughed and said, yeah, fuck them. But, every time, he helps out. So shout out to that. And
Elevation.
yeah, absolutely. Fame. Just before we get off fame, like you said, fame is man-made.
Yeah.
Just like a lot of things. So anything that's man-made, there's a chance that it could be wrong.
Yeah.
Us as supporters, I feel like, because with me, I'm a supporter, and now people are starting to support me with Nothing's Normal. And the whole idea of Nothing's Normal is, like I said, taking yourself out of your norm. I might not merge with whatever your norm is, but that don't mean it got to be a bad vibe. There's no good or bad vibe. It's live and let live. So us as supporters, from a supporter standpoint, I think we need to give more leeway. We need to be more conscious and more. What's the other word that I'm looking for? Damn. We need to be more empathetic that, these people are human. So I get it. They're not supposed to do certain things, but says who? If you could go in the crib and smack your girl upside the head, why the fuck can't Brad Pitt do it? Like, I'm not with domestic issues. That's not. But what I'm saying to you is things happen. We got to stop classifying these people like they're aliens. There's only one Elon, man. It's we're all. The rest of us are human. So we got to.
I think the biggest thing is it's like it's a double. It's so weird because the truth is, whenever you do decide to be a public figure, you got to just know you're stepping into that. That's what you're signing up for.
Yeah.
It's like people. That's how fame is not normal. Like this is called nothing's normal. That shit is not normal at all. Yeah. Like the feeling of it is not normal. It's not. You're most likely not gonna be able to relate to anybody that you're friends with, like that you grew up with, about it. So it's kind of like, once you step into that arena, you're signing up for the court of public opinion. So you kind of gotta hold yourself accountable and at that standard.
Absolutely, there's no blame game. Like I said, if we all have a choice, so you don't have to be. You can be a not public.
Exactly.
You go be a janitor.
If you know that you're the type of person that's susceptible to being an asshole. Yeah. Don't put yourself on Front Street. Don't decide to be a musician or a singer or an athlete who is gonna get certain endorsements that only non-assholes are able to get, because once the veil is lifted off people's eyes, then you're gonna be like, bro, I'm human like all y'all, boy. Just guess what? Like, you decided to go towards something that's not humanly normal. Right. So you gotta live with that now,
And accountability and knowing what you signed up for. A lot of people sign up for things that they have no clue what the criteria is. This is why I'm glad we're having this conversation, because there's a dark side to anything, to everything. There's a good and bad for everything. Nothing's perfect. So, know what you're doing when you're doing it. If this is, you want to get into acting, podcasting, somebody in the comments, I'm starting to read comments like I get trolled now. It's like, damn, I'm damn near ready to start Googling addresses and things of that nature and paying home visits. But I got to remember, like, ain't nobody tell me to want to be a podcaster
well, that's the thing,
or
bro.
Get involved in this
the thing that I realized is there are going to be people that hate you for no reason at all. Just because you're doing something dope. Right. People are going like create fake Instagrams and all types of stuff.
I'm getting all at the box.
Yeah, bro, I got that. Like, I remember
I'm probably getting that the last 15 years.
Yeah, bro, this one when I was doing sports journalism, that was one thing. People like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Right. But I'll get like hate mail. Yeah. And then there was this one time I had my mom on my gram, and somebody stopped us on the street and was like, oh, like, can I get a photo because of some show I was on? Right. And then, my mom's reaction was genuinely like, wow, like, she's a nurse. She's not used to that stuff. Yeah. So somebody literally went out their way to create a fake Instagram or a new Instagram, whatever, screen record that, post it of me and my mom, talk shit. And usually I ignore everything like that, but it's my mom, So part of me wanted to be like, yo, why don't you just let me know your location? Like, we could talk about, you know what I'm saying? You want to talk shit on Instagram, let's be. But then I had to stop, and I'm like, this is what they want. Mm-hmm. They want a reaction. They want you to be able to come out of your zone. They want to be your master in that moment. And you just got to know, like, you got to clap for them, because you're like, the only thing you're doing is making me realize that I'm doing something right.
It's so dangerous with that, because in this world, it's so fucked up now. You have the whole act like it never happened, ignore mindset, where it's like, you get to a point where you start feeling like, or people will tell you, you're here. Don't even address anything down here. But now, if we had a cookout and we outside and there's a fly that just keep flying past your face a mile a minute, it's gonna be hard for you not to want to do that. Yeah. So even though a fly is this big, flies are harmless. They're annoying. Yeah. So it's hard not to smack at it. That's one. So that for me is one of the biggest obstacles when it comes to that, because it's annoying. And one thing with people is, the more you ignore it, I just feel like the bigger the performance gets for them to get your attention. Some people would do anything to get your attention. And I'm noticing even when you ignore it, they just do more shit. And at what point it's like, okay, stop playing with me. Because before I know it, you'll do something detrimental to me just to get a reaction out of me.
Right,
so it's very, at that point, I think you got to kind of just,
it's
that's why people get
balance.
Famous and leave the area because
100%.
It's dangerous.
A lot of people will wonder what happened to X person or this person. And then I'll see them on a podcast talking years later. And they're like, yo, like for instance, the dude who was on Entourage, the dude who starred Vinny Chase.
Okay.
You know, that Entourage was a big show, like went 6, 7 seasons, 8 seasons, whatever it went. And people loved it.
Right.
And everybody's expecting them to go on to do big things. Like Turtle, he was on Power and all this other stuff. And the dude who played Vinny Chase, Adrian Grenier, I don't remember his last name, Adrian something. He was on a show recently talking about how he lived off the grid now. He's raising chickens, and he's like, I don't want to be in Hollywood. Like, I'm good. And some people, $3 million might not be a lot to some people. And for some people, $3 million is all I need. And I'm like, yo, I could live. I'm good. I don't need to be in the public eye.
That goes back to what you said. Success is
exactly. Different. So it's like you got to determine what success means to you, because
identify your meaning, not
what
no
people define.
Your meaning is success.
Because fuck what everybody else thinks. Like, how do you feel? Like,
how do you stay peaceful? Right.
Be happy. You got your people that you need, the same people that will never switch up no matter what you decide to do.
I mean, that's when I guess you get all of these. Like I said, you could just pretty much purchase anything. Everything's for sale nowadays.
You can purchase AI, fake deeps. You could buy a fake Drake lyric on ChatGPT.
It's crazy nowadays, and like I said, now it's like a freaking a plague of the USPA verifications. That's what I call, and this shit look crazy.
I don't understand that.
I do understand it. If you're somebody who hasn't, if you type in your Instagram name and you the only motherfucker that popped up, what the fuck is you getting verified for?
But you know what it is, bro? It's we create these monsters, right? We do, and it's so crazy, bro. That. It's like the same reason why people feel like they need to look a certain way or do whatever they would need to do. It's because since the start of social media, I feel like there is no
social media. I'm sorry. This is the third time I pay attention to patterns.
Yo, you know what's crazy? Because I feel like
what the fuck does social media do to you, Kyle?
It's like I feel like I'm forced to use.
Are you an introvert?
Yeah, but nobody knows that.
Yeah,
like because of what I chose to do for a living. Like I call myself an ambivert because I love being like, I could go to we were talking about the mountains before we started rolling.
Yeah.
You like, Nick, you like fucking tree houses and shit. And I'm like, yeah, I do, because I could go there and recharge and be by myself and be happy as hell. I don't need to be in the mix, right? Like I'm going to Jamaica in a month. Bro, I'm going to be in the fucking bush. Like I'm going to be picking mangoes, climbing trees and shit. I live in Hollywood, California.
What's the shit on Jungle Book? You gonna be like the boy off the Jungle Book.
Yeah, bro. And it's like
Aladdin over here.
The thing about social media, whenever like with me, I know that I have to be constantly doing something before, because I'm not at the stage in my career where I could just go off the grid and I'm gonna get roles just handed to me or whatever the case is. And I feel like ever since the inception of social media, there have been, it's like a Black Mirror episode where you're judged on, there's certain jobs you might not be able to get because you don't have a verification badge, right. You don't have 100,000 followers. So
I'm sorry, the guys who pay for the verification.
Nah, don't even be sorry, but it's like,
that's what it is.
It's like one of those things that we got to ask ourselves, what does this shit even mean? It doesn't mean shit.
What
like,
are you willing to give up?
If I DM somebody because I have a blue check, or if I like a photo because I have a blue check, they're automatically going to notice me sooner, and they're automatically going to click on my page.
They might screenshot the like, post it in the story. Look who just liked my pic.
So the people that are searching for this validation, they like, oh, bet I'm going to pay Instagram $180 a year, whatever the case is, just to feel like I matter.
Yeah, it's like, are you even... is there any sort of capitalization besides that?
It's really not even the person who's buying it. The person who's buying it, it's their fault that they are searching for outside validation. Yeah. But it's all the people that are running these companies that are preying on those people, because they're not like, yo, we can make an extra $50 million a year because
I saw that.
Joe Schmo wants to be able to DM this girl he likes and make her feel like he is somebody.
Well, now I'm gonna keep it 100. Now I kind of don't even want to get verified because I feel like
right now it's watered down.
Spinks is paying that $15
exactly.
a month. No, I ain't never getting.
And what's crazy,
shit.
bro? I think I'm not positive on this, but I think because I know a politician who she should have been verified a minute ago. She hit me up. And she's like, do you know anybody at Meta? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, I've been trying to get verified. I got these articles written about me, X, Y, and Z, so I should have no issue because somebody's making a fake account and trying to act like they're me. So I'm like, let me hit up my person at Meta, see what's up. So I do. They hit her back and they like pretty much tell her like, yeah, you got to pay $15 a month to do this thing. So even if you're
there's
legitimately,
there's that other way too now.
What's the other way now?
Monica Lewinsky. I'm sorry, baby. Hey, don't have them give me no tickets. I'm sorry, it's just jokes, man.
Yo, but I don't even think you can get it for free anymore. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like
I listen. Whatever it is,
crazy.
I don't want it because, like I said, it's like USP. You know when they had the fake polo, the guy with the. I don't even think that was a horse. I think that was a unicorn.
Right.
The man on top of the unicorn, the USP.
Dude had 3 legs.
Like, you get this shit from. You get a verification from Kennedy's now.
Yeah, man, and it's scary though. It's scary that people are resorting to 15, bro. You already got your Netflix bill.
You already paid $25 in child support. Now you want to pay $15 in Meta? You niggas freaking,
it's crazy.
Man.
Yeah, when I see it, I'm like, bro, what are you doing buying
crazy.
A verification badge?
Yeah, it's sad. But I mean, listen, nothing's normal. So, this is not a judgmental campaign. I'm just giving you my opinion. Rock how you. I mean, technically, I'm dressed like a verification, a verification.
Somebody gonna be in your comments now. You look like a blue check.
Oh my god! Somebody's gonna be a blue. I might be a blue check for Halloween 2023. I'm gonna just come out with a big ass blue check.
Yo, you already know there's gonna be a lot of people.
What I'm noticing too, not just talking to you. Like I said, my situation, my freak accident, I could say sharpened me up mentally as far as finding peace. Like I had to figure out when you can't walk, when you can't, you can't piss, you can't fuck, you can't do nothing. Only thing in order to keep yourself sane, you have to find different opportunities, different things to keep yourself sane.
Right.
So for me, it was like I found a lot of peace. I had my mental. It became iron, not insensitive, but in order to be peaceful, part of protecting your peace, you cannot have too many tabs open. If you're sensitive, if you care about everything, you have to minimize your care list and how many tabs you're gonna have open, because life is already gonna throw you shit that is gonna happen to you that's gonna force you to have to dig deep in order to persevere through it. You can't care about everything. You can't care about not being verified. You can't care about this person doesn't like me. You can't care about public opinion.
Yeah.
Those type of things will cause you to self-destruct.
100%.
You try to keep up with the world, you're just going to be forever under construction. You're going to let society dictate your pace.
They're going to be deciding what you wear, how you look,
what you need to do, how you need to smell, how you need to walk. And I feel like, especially with urban culture, we're very, 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 we have mastered not accomplishing anything, but always talking about what we could have did.
Yeah.
That's if that is in a book, you put that in Google and type images, it's gonna be a group of brothers.
100%.
So it's like, we gotta. Who gives a fuck, man?
They're gonna be saying like, oh, yeah, he's nice or whatever, but I'm telling you,
there's always a but.
Yeah.
I was watching the Tony Yayo when he was on Expert Opinion. He said that there's always just niggas that's just hating. But it's like, what have you done? Pay attention. We go off too much word of mouth. We have to get back to reading. Go to resume.
Yeah.
See what a guy's account. Stop going off public opinion.
But I said that a while ago. I said that during the last election cycle. I was basically paying attention to both sides because I'm just one of those people where I don't classify myself as anything. I listen to everything.
Me too.
And I read everything, and I make a critical decision choice after that. And I feel like there's no more critical thinking anymore. Like people just will walk into a crowded room and they'll hear a popular thing going around in that room, and they'll decide like, you know what, it's easier for me to just like agree with everybody else.
Yeah. It's not easy standing alone.
No, it's not.
For me, it is. I love it. I get joy out of, which when I say joy, that doesn't mean I create situations to just go against the grain. I don't purposely go against the grain to just be difficult. No.
Right.
But, you know, I enjoy standing on what I believe in and everybody being over there. That's not a challenge for me. That's easy. I can walk in a room, and if it's 10 people who I don't rock with, I'm walking right the fuck past.
And you could hear it on. It doesn't matter what side of the coin it is. You could hear people on one side of the argument that sound like they have never read anything about what's going on, and then the same thing could happen on the other side. And it's like, yo, how about y'all really just figure out what the facts are, as opposed to just like going with
facts over
a popular opinion. Yeah. But people don't do that.
People don't do that at all. But I want to definitely get into your story a little bit more, especially me knowing you. When I've known you since.
Yeah, you've known me, bro.
Come on, bro. So with me knowing you, I'm interested. Before we even get into that, I want to shout out Nicco. What's Nicco's last name, JT? You was a Magnet.
Oh, Nicco Annan?
Shout out to Nicco. Pause. Shout out to Nicco. He got the show P Valley.
Yeah. Just won an award, matter of fact.
Absolutely. If we're going to give credit, you know, EYL, I could say, birthed a lot of financial literals. I've seen guys who only work out, guys who only do certain things now, hold seminars and webinars about stocks. They might have always been involved in it, but as far as publicizing it and making it, structuring their career behind it, I haven't seen it until those guys. I can say those guys have birthed a lot of entrepreneurs. They gave a lot of guys hope and belief that two guys from where we from, who walked the same land, was in the same programs, had the same coaches, ate at the same restaurants, could definitely figure something out and take over the world. On top of what a lot of other areas that they inspired. GBA, you know, we you know, we can't even. Our influence is just is gold because we influence everybody. I don't care what lane you in. Everybody got a little bit of GBA in them. When it comes to like theater, acting, like the Purchase College type vibe, I gotta credit that to Nicco. Nicco had a program in my high school, Woodlands, and
Reader's Theater.
Right, and there was a lot of people who came through there. They would hold shows at the center. Shout out to Haas, everybody who was in that, Justin Jenkins, everybody who was in that program. And just to see how far he's made it as far as acting is inspirational. And then you have you outside of him. I would say as far as the acting, you hold one of the torches. So what was your inspiration? I don't know if it had it. Were you in Nicco?
Yo, so what's crazy is like Nicco. I met Nicco when I was focusing on journalism, but I knew he did Reader's Theater, and he would tell me like, yo, because we had like black box theater, like sometimes like whatever, or I forgot whatever art classes we were in, they would send us down there, and I had always loved film and TV, like watching it, like most kids, you know, but I had never saw myself as I've never seen myself as an actor. So Nicco was like, yo, I'm doing this short film at Purchase. We need another guy in it. Like, you interested? I'm like, not really, to be honest. He's like, well, you're doing it. Like, you need to. He
saw the potential.
Yeah, he must have. So I did that. I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. But then I left it alone, went to college. Nicco was leaving Greenberg to move to California. Okay. He was like, I'm going to go do this acting thing. And went to college, did journalism. But also in college, like, I saw there was a theater group, Black Theater Productions. And this woman, Brittany, who ran it, she was like, yo, she did the same thing Nicco did. She was like, yo, you should be in this play. And I'm like, I did that already. Like, I tested that out in high school. It's not my thing. But eventually, push came to shove, I did it. My friends who had never heard me talk about acting, they saw the play. They were like, yo, I know you want to be a journalist, but like, you should probably think about this. Like, you might have
I remember what play you talking about. I remember that.
Yeah. So basically, after I graduated, spent a few years doing journalism, I did my thing. I reached great heights in that. Yeah. I started to realize, like, yo, you know what? Corporate America is not for me. What can I do? Let me call Nicco. And I went out to LA. Nicco, I hadn't spoken to him in years, but he still was like, "Yo, remember I put you in that movie?"
Yeah, shout out to him.
Yeah, and I've been able to Nicco. I consider him one of my mentors.
Absolutely, 100%.
It's like I would have auditions like during COVID. I was in like a real low place with my career, and I was on the phone with him like when Black Lives Matter had just started and all this shit was going on outside. Yeah. I'm still trying to focus on finding what my path is. And he was one of those people that stuck by me and was just like, yo, you got talent, focus, speak it into existence, make it happen. And, you know, when things started to pop off for me, things were popping off in a major way for him.
Yeah, Uncle Clifford.
Yeah, P Valley. And
I haven't made it, you know, shout out to Nicco. I haven't made it through a whole episode, but
but you know what's crazy, bro?
A lot of word of mouth.
It's one of those things. It's one of those things where that show is causing so many people to like have these conversations, right? Where they're like, damn,
the world likes that. Yo, bro, there's a lane. That's man.
So crazy.
I be trying to keep it. That's really that type of shit. That's normal shit in a lot of these communities. So we're not gonna go there that route. What's the rapper? What's the dude's name? What's the
Lil Murder?
There's a million Lil Murders running around 100%. Here. That ain't nothing new.
And there's people that watch that they might have been like, I can't ever identify, and then they see this, and nobody in their hood knows who they really are.
Absolutely.
But then they see this, and they're like, damn, like I relate.
Man, I hope none of the guys is nah. But back to the point, Nicco. Oh, damn. Pause again, but he had his hands on a lot of he's very influential, and I mean that with all seriousness. Like he's one of the GOATs I feel like that passed through the town. I'm not sure exactly where he's from originally.
From Detroit.
Okay, but when it came to Woodlands, when it comes to just the history of Greenburgh, he definitely has his own genre. Yeah. In the sense that, you know, I claim Nicco as one of the town greats.
He is.
And like I said, it falls back into it, offspring guys like you.
Yeah.
And gave you, see, I had no clue. I just remember Nicco had the program. And I don't feel like Nicco get enough flowers from the community. Like we all used to make little corny jokes now that I'm older about him. But, you know, Nicco's a legend. You know, Nicco, I watched the interview that he did in 2020 when I was off my feet. And he dove into like his background, and I like his campaign. I like his family structure. If everything was authentic from what he said in the interview, and I became a supporter. You know, like I said, I don't watch the show, but I support him, and I definitely wouldn't mind connecting with him on the show. You know what I'm saying? Which I'll leave the pause word at home if I get you in here, my man Nicco. You remember me, man? I was always a jokester. But
that's
shout
dope,
out
man.
to Nicco.
That's mature, bro.
Yeah,
and that's growth. You know what I'm saying?
I'm nothing's normal. I know who I am. I'm not. Ain't a speck of little murder in me, guys. So I ain't really worried about, you know, the stigmas. Right. And I never, like I told you, it could be me right here and 100 people.
Well, that's the other thing, right? You go back to caring about what other people think, right? Nah. Because you could be a supporter of somebody and be afraid to support something because of the toxicity that is around you, surrounding whatever topic it may be, you know, like politicians, for instance. Like you might support a politician because you really know them, but they happen to be part of a party that like maybe everybody in your family is like, nah, we don't support that.
Right,
but it's like, nah, you can't envelope everything together. Like things are individual.
Now that you said that, when you factor that into accountability, how you was raised, after you reach a certain point where you can think for yourself and make your own decisions, how you were raised becomes an excuse.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. There's no such thing as, because I hear people say, when you talk about generational wealth, generational this, we got to start working on breaking generational traumas.
Yeah.
Generational curses, generational disconnect, generational conflict. Like there's certain families that you never didn't see eye to eye in the 70s, and now it's still that way as of 2023 when it's like, bruh, your great grandfather don't even know you. What the fuck you feel a certain type of way about this last name for? You don't got nothing to do with that. So I just feel like once you get older, we got to stop using that as a crutch to do stupid shit. Oh, I was raised like this when it comes to racism or different things. This is how I was raised. Well, now that you're older, you get a chance to make your own decisions.
You can make your own choices.
And decide, what you're right and from what your wrong is, and how you're going to raise your family and grow your tree. So, that was dope. So, yeah, I'm not with the majority of the masses. I got to do what's going to keep me peaceful, and I'm past that stage of my life as far as I'm comfortable with who I am.
Right, bro. You learn little things like that you didn't know about. Like, for instance, me, a big part of my mental health is like meditating, right?
Right.
I wasn't raised to meditate. Like, we went to church and all that other stuff. And, like, I wasn't raised going to therapists. I go to a therapist now. And it's like, you start learning these things that are beneficial to you personally that you would have never really thought about because that's not how you technically were raised.
Absolutely.
But you make your own choices and you're like, yo, what would serve for me? Like, I'm not a parent, but like you got a kid.
Right.
You might have been raised in certain ways that you do with your son, but then there's other ways that you didn't really have access to or whatever, and you're like, you know what, I should implement that with my son, even though I didn't have that.
I just saw that on a meme, and I'm not like a huge memer. Like, I just feel like Justin LeBoy, his page, like, it's like the Bible. It's like the new Bible nowadays. Like, not just him, but just memes. Period. People they live off memes, like the Old Testament, New Testament. Like, it's like people. So I seen something that said, you have to be everything you felt like you needed. So like I said, my pops, he died when I was 5. The word dad wasn't even in my vocabulary. I tried to call my sister's father dad one time and I almost threw up. It just didn't feel natural. So, that wasn't comfortable for me. So, is that my excuse to say, well, I didn't have a dad? No, that's and I know what I needed at that time. Cause like I said, women can't teach men to be men. I don't care how much they feel like they can. It's impossible. You have a vagina. We have balls. It's two different washing processes. It's just different. You can't teach it. So that's more motivation for me to be around. And also to give that balance. I said that in the first episode. Like, I can't teach my stepdaughter how to maneuver through her period. I don't get cramps. I don't bleed. I don't know how to do that. So she would need her mom for that. So if you take the mom out of the equation, that's a whole lack of understanding, empathy, all that's missing. I'm going to think like, hormones. I'm going to think you just tweaking and you need to just figure it out when it's not as easy as that.
Right.
Same thing like boys. I think naturally we got this little pocket that's right by our crotch. Like, as a kid, when you grow up, everybody just sat outside and put their hands in their pants. Women, my mom used to go crazy when I did that shit. It's like, bro, this is what boys do. Like, it's not that I'm playing with myself. It's just boys put their hands in their pants. Everybody done been cold and they ain't putting their hands in their pockets. Your hands in your pants.
Right.
So I feel like a man and a woman, it equalizes what's normal for what gender. So yeah, I definitely. You can't make no excuse about how you was raised. You gotta be able to make your own decisions and raise your campaign. Because to me, the family I create is more important than the family I was born into.
Right.
There's a lot of times with kids, people. My kid didn't ruin my life. He saved mine. So a lot of people look at it like their kids slowed them down. My son was planned. So. He didn't ask to be here, so whatever he does, I got to take what comes with it because, like I said, we didn't negotiate. I didn't negotiate with a stork. Like, okay, you're gonna drop him off at this time? Nah, we did business and he got here. So, our kids don't ask to be here.
Right.
So
that's a fact.
That's tough. Okay, so moving forward to you said something. Okay, so Nicco, you went to LA, and it's safe to say. It was it after that. What was your first major role? Well, you say how major or major. What was your first role that you said, you know what? It's lit. It's up. I remember I started seeing, like you said, with the journalism. You was little baby Max Kellerman. I peeped you. You was out here. Even shout out to Cubit with the weatherman.
Yeah.
I was seeing y'all. That Albany staff was.
Yeah, bro. And it's crazy. Like, we had a cool little. We had like a TV network in Albany that like it basically it started all of that in us, right? Like, you're like, oh, like, we got a little TV station, like, we got cameras, we got a studio, so it felt like the real thing, and you're like, I could really do this.
Right.
But with the acting thing, it really wasn't until I got noticed. Like to make a long story short, while I was working in the corporate America, I had walked away from daily journalism, and I was interviewing athletes for documentaries. Like I was making sports documentaries, but I still felt
30
like, yo,
for 30 type flow?
kind of, sort of, but more so like on a branded level, like for like the NFL or Pizza Hut or whatever the case was.
Okay.
So while I was working at this agency, I felt like I wasn't being creative enough. Like I had this stuff in me that I wanted to get out. I knew I was funny. I knew I was creative. So I'm like, yo, let me make skits on my Instagram. And one of the skits I made went viral. Oprah's team saw it.
Ooh,
it was a Jamaican
Big
skit.
O.
Yeah, Auntie Oprah saw it. And essentially, when I got the job on David Makes Man, that was my first ever acting role where I got paid for, where I'd never flown first class before. And they flying me out to Orlando, and I'm just like, damn, like I'm getting car service and all this stuff. And I'm on set, and I'm with an Oscar winner, Terrell McCraney. Shout out to Terrell. He gave me my first opportunity. I'm like, hold up. This is real. Like, Felicia Rashad is in my trailer. Like, what's going on? So then I started to realize, like, all right, not only is this possible, like, I'm here, I'm doing it, it's physical. I could, you know what I'm saying? I could feel what's going on. So at that moment, I was on set for like 17 hours one day.
Yikes.
And
coffee, talk about
yeah,
coffee.
and I was thinking to myself, like, yo, I didn't even notice how long it was, and I looked at my clock, and I'm like, oh, shoot. I'm supposed to go to Miami for Art Basel, but I'm still on set, and I was chilling.
You was content? Was you happy?
I was happy,
notice
bro.
The difference.
I was happy.
17 hours flew by. That's happiness.
And
you don't even notice?
And what's crazy
that's dope.
Is if I was in an office for 17 hours,
every minute would be.
I would be tight. I'd be like, nah, man, fuck this job.
Yeah.
Like, they made me miss my flight. I can't even go to Art Basel until tomorrow. And in reality, that's when I found out that acting was my passion.
Right.
And it wasn't about anything else for me besides, like, all right, I'm going to quit this job where I'm making six figures, but I don't know how to do it. Oh, wow.
That's what you were seeing doing that shit?
Yeah, bro.
So that wasn't no penny.
Nah, I was good. I was going to be like, you know what I'm saying? I would have been able to do the whole white house, white fence, wife, kids, dog, all that, like the cookie cutter.
So you gave that up to chase your dream.
Yeah, essentially, I walked away from it, but I was
new dream. You can have a new dream every day. It doesn't have to be a life. People, if you don't have a lifelong dream, a dream is a dream. Whether you had a dream last night or whether you had a dream this morning.
Exactly, and the only difference between dreams and goals is your goals are things that you actually put action behind, and you make your dreams attainable. So I was like, all right, this has been a dream. The only way for it to become a goal is for me to walk away from this corporate job. But I was honestly too scared to walk away because I'm like making decent money every 2 weeks, and made the decision. God made the decision for me. I got laid off literally a month after I finished filming this show because I was doing both.
Yeah,
I get laid off, and then I'm like, oh shit, like, all right, we going full force. I look for a manager, I look for an agent, I find one, and bro, from that moment where I got laid off, it took me 24 months to get my next acting job. So I had 2 years of.
How was that? Was that stressful?
Bro, it was crazy because I was so naive to how the industry worked. I thought because I booked one job and Oprah knew who I was, that I was just going to keep booking, and it's not just.
It's just a moment.
It's moment to moment.
Yeah, moment to moment.
So in those 2 years where I was unemployed, I ended up working at restaurants. I ended up like finding different hustles to make money. I would take little gigs here and there. I'm going through my savings. Like, yeah, bro, like what? I blew through all the savings that I had over the 2 years. Now I'm working at a restaurant, and the first restaurant job.
You worked at Costco's?
I never worked at Costco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with it, you know what I'm saying?
Hell no.
But the difference, whenever you decide to be an actor, the reason why actors choose to work at restaurants most of the time is because for a fact, you know for sure you're going to have the mornings to yourself. You're going to have chances to go to class, audition, whatever the case is. You're in a restaurant, you might meet certain people.
I was about to say, you get to, fill up the water for the president.
Yeah, exactly. You never know who you're going to be pouring water for. So I had to, but tough. What's crazy, bro, I had to kill my ego because I'm like, I went to college.
You a light-skinned nigga with green eyes. What the fuck you doing working in a restaurant?
I was making good money, you know what I'm saying? And I had to go start all over.
Yeah.
And after you kill that ego.
And without the support, you grow new family, But now, you know, your family's in New York.
Yeah.
So you really did all of this solo.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's like Jesus. That's like a Jesus.
Yeah, bro. And it's crazy because there's still the grind. I've been in the industry now, like going on 5 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, I still feel like I'm in like I'm not on chapter 1, but I'm not at the end of the book.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
But like I said, like I told you the first time, man, you was on Law and Order, bro. Stabler, man, listen, that's one of my favorite characters ever. I like Vincent too.
Yeah, that show was cool.
I fuck with all. I'm more of a fan of the old SVU more so than the new. You know, they started reaching like the Chris Brown, Rihanna, and all that. It's like, yeah, y'all are tweaking now. Like,
yeah,
let's get back to chasing rapists and, you know, that type time. Like, let's not get too crazy.
Not make it too, you know.
So, to fast forward, as we start to wrap this up, you were just in LA.
Yeah.
I seen, you know, got you on social media. Mm-hmm. I seen you on, I don't know if it was a set. What you got going on out there nowadays? I saw you doing something. You had some makeup on.
Oh, yeah. So,
I don't know if you was doing a shoot. I don't know what the hell you was doing.
Yeah, so I was actually in Hawaii.
Wow.
I was in Hawaii. Yeah. So I was working on this show, NCIS Hawaii.
Okay.
Shout outs to that team over there in Oahu. That was my first time ever in Hawaii.
It was beautiful.
So dope, man. It was cool. It was like one of those things where I'm at work, but it's like I get off work and I'm looking at the sunset and I'm at this hotel and I'm like, damn, it feels like I'm on vacation as well with my son. And it's like I'm by myself though. I'm not with a shorty or I'm not with, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I have time to really just be with me. And you know, it's dope. Like that episode, by the way, comes out April 10th. April 10th on CBS. Yeah.
Okay.
So
yes, we'll be able to see. We're not gonna see you on. It's not Tubi or nothing like that.
Nah. You know.
I mean, shout out to Tubi. Tubi giving out a lot of money. I heard.
Yeah. But I was shooting NCIS Hawaii. So this is my first role as a. It's crazy. It's my first role as a grown ass man with a kid, and like.
Oh wow.
I'm a U.S. Marshal in it. So yeah, it'd be dope.
Did you get knocked out? Shot?
I ain't gonna tell you nothing.
Okay,
you have to
see, media trade, man. Smart guy, man. He gonna let me. And Hawaii just looks like a dope place because I feel like, a person could go to Hawaii naked and go to the rainforest and come out with an outfit. Like all they outfits be looking like natural, like dresses made out of grass, bamboo, chains. It's just real natural.
Yeah, it was crazy because I was in the city, right? I was in Waikiki, which is like, it feels like a tourist city, right? But then I rented a car because you know me, I'm a nature. I'm the nature kid. So
you a nature nut.
Yeah,
bro.
so
you Kuna Matata. You like Pumbaa.
You know,
lift a rock and
like
start eating worms.
I'm the Kyle Thomas is like the extreme version.
I forgot.
Kyle is like living in the forest out there, giving me tips, like telling me where to go.
But you know what? Not for nothing. I would love to pay Kyle a visit,
bro.
Spend a week out there.
Exactly. I think he's going.
If I didn't have a kid, turn my phone off.
Kyle be the type where he'll look at a leaf and be able to tell you like, oh, yo, this is good for this use and all that.
Kyle, I don't think is sick. He's like the closest thing I've seen to Gandhi or like Dr. Sebi.
Yeah.
He's man.
So I drove to this part of the island called the North Shore, and I was just out there eating fruits, bro, and like going to the beach.
Papaya and all that.
You know what I'm saying? All of that. Yeah. Acai bowls, all of that.
Is that shit, does it taste different than the shit that's over here?
I will say like the fruits that I had out there did taste like more official, like sweet. Like it don't feel like, you know what I'm saying?
Motherland.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more natural.
That's dope. How long you in town for, my guy?
Yeah, I'm here till Wednesday, man.
That's another thing with guys too. With the social media, when a motherfucker, let me give y'all some tips before we wrap it up, man. Us regular guys, if a guy's Instagram name, because usually people only do this type of shit on Facebook. You get the Nick Creegans, the Angelo Scarfones, the Rashad Bilals, I'm going to leave Troy out of it. I'm going to leave Mikey out of it. These motherfuckers with their government names on Instagram, they mean business, bro. Be careful. If your girl gets a DM from a motherfucker and his birth certificate name is his Instagram name, you might as well chalk it up, bro. So I usually try to when I reach out or guys reach out to me with, if you want to get, next to me, your best bet, don't come to me DMing me such and such too lit or such and such Larry too sturdy or Angelo with the 30. That shit's not gonna get it. I'm not responding. But if you put your government name as your IG, I'm gonna think you mean business off the rip. So that's one thing I'm starting to notice, like with certain guys, like they regular names as their Instagram account names, it gets a little spooky. Yeah. So okay, so what you got coming up, man? Before we wrap it up,
so definitely April 10th on CBS.
April 10th.
Check out NCIS Hawaii. NCIS Hawaii, and other than that, like I've been writing. I'm writing my own project right now.
And can you give us any insight on?
It's kind of loosely. It's loosely based off. It's loosely based off my life after I decided that I wanted to be an actor.
Okay.
Loosely, like it's a very like exaggerated version of a person like myself that wants to be an actor and wants to leave the corporate world and like the people around him. So it's gonna be like a dark comedy.
You're gonna be on like one of them little VH1 type campaigns. I know, when we started leading into when the New Edition movie came out, bro, I was like, whoa, is it gonna be like events like that going on? Like some
it's gonna be
super
like
Illuminati, they got you in a room.
Nah, it's gonna be more along the lines of like an Entourage vibe, like Entourage, How to Make It in America, like you on your hustle, you gotta like get into certain situations that you never expected you would get into.
That's when
and it's gonna be funny,
Right?
Yeah. It's gonna be funny because of the shit that actually goes on. You know what I'm saying? That people might say like, damn, like that's crazy. It might not happen to me directly, but I know it's happening.
Absolutely,
So yeah, I'm excited about that because I feel like it's important while you audition for other things, like to want to make your own shit.
Absolutely.
What you're doing is
brand. You're a brand now.
Yeah.
That's what I'm noticing. But when your name, Nick Creegan, is a brand in itself.
Exactly.
So
the same way Spanx is a brand at this point.
Yeah. So because I'm Leon Steele. I don't think I'm ready to make that my IG yet. I'm gonna still stick to the county boy Spanx thing for now. I ain't reached that status, and I don't really want y'all calling me Leon. And y'all can if y'all want, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Last question for you. What are some things to look for, and what are some things to? What is a good? How do you pick an agent? Like, what are the do's and don'ts?
That's a good question. That's a real good question. Yeah. For me, the important part about, because I have an agent and a manager, and my manager is the dude that I've been with ever since I got laid off from that job. Like me and my manager met at a restaurant in New York.
You just Google managers?
What's crazy is I was literally Googling managers, bro, and I'm in a restaurant, and then I heard a conversation over here about Sundance Film Festival.
Light-skinned niggas nosy as hell. He over here he's Googling and listening to what's going on at TV4.
Yeah, bro. I hear Sundance, and I'm like, oh, okay, they in the industry in some way. And I hear the woman he's with say his name. She says his first name, and I literally typed
all in AT. Damn.
Bro, yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah, I Googled, I said New York City talent agent, this person. My manager's name's Corey, so I typed in Corey, and literally, bro, his face popped up like on the third result on LinkedIn. I swear to everything, bro. So I sit there and it's like
be on Cheaters or something.
Bro, it's like talking to a girl or something, because you're like, all right, let me wait for my moment to get up there.
I'm getting hot.
So she goes to the bathroom. I act like I'm gonna go charge my phone, and I'm like, yo, so I heard you talking about Sundance, like I'm an actor. Could we sit down and talk about representation? Long story short, he becomes my manager. That was like 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
The backstory is crazy.
Yeah.
But that's God, though.
Bro, it is. And it's like God will throw you the alley, and you got to dunk it,
And and that goes back to not being too prideful. Because like
exactly,
hearing that story is like, damn, you was like, he was like the gazelle and you was the lion.
But that's why I'm making my show, because I'm like, bro, I feel like I've been in so many situations where I finessed my way into certain situations.
You got to know how to. Yeah.
But the reason him and I worked together is because when we had dinner after that, I could see there's a common level of trust, and like he understands where I'm coming from, I understand where he's coming from, and it's not about, he wasn't like a big manager at the time. He was just starting out too.
Of course.
So it's like, you can't work vertically, you got to work horizontally.
Absolutely.
That's my biggest thing. You got to be able to be around people you trust, not people that have a big name.
Nah.
Like in agency world, like there's like top few agencies. There's CAA, WME, all these other agencies, and it's like some people they start out, they want to shoot straight to CAA, and they might know somebody who could introduce them to an agent at CAA, but you're not gonna be. You think they're gonna hang up a call with Brad Pitt to talk to you? They're not.
It's like I beat it, Winslow.
So it's like you got to be realistic with yourself and realize like, all right, who can I work with that I trust and that believes in me and that's gonna be working hard. That's how I go about finding my agent.
And I feel like starting ground level, fuck, all that starting from the bottom. When you start ground level, it teaches you a certain level of toughness. Because I feel like when everything's handed to you, eventually you might reach, some adversity. You got to know how to handle it.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So, or you'll go crazy out here. But yeah, man, Nick Creegan, ladies and gentlemen, Nothing's Normal Podcast. Shout out. That's his Instagram too. And he's organically verified, baby. GBA.
Shout outs to GBA though. Y'all been my dudes for forever,
beyond
man.
Your dudes, GBA. We raised you up a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
That's
he's
a
a
fact.
product. He come from the GBA campaign as far as he was around. He was in the mix. Like GBA was sprinkled a little bit everywhere. The whole town. This is Greenberg and this is GBA.
That's a fact, bro.
We sprinkled that shit a little everywhere, and it's great.
And that's why I'm happy that you're doing this because
Right.
if you can influence a hood, that means that you can influence a lot of other hoods.
Mm-hmm.
And
you
like
influence and inspire me too. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
You never want. The whole purpose I feel like of mentorship. I'm not gonna say I mentored you or anything like that, but as far as mentorship is, you want your mentee to eventually be able to help you.
That's a fact.
So I never was the guy who wanted the player to not be better than the coach. Now there's a way to go about it. There's always respect, which is why me personally, I got a lot of guys who I consider big bros of mine, and guys be like, for what? What is he doing? And this, that, and the third. At a point in time, that person was everything. Or that person helped me in this way. That doesn't always have to be financial. You could be a supporter of somebody in many different ways. A lot of people will be like, why does such and such always reach for such and such? Well, you don't know what this person does for this individual.
Yo, that's crazy. Like I'll give a personal story now. Like you and Ice, like y'all were like big bros, right?
Yeah.
So
For
I
sure.
remember Ice told me I used to chill with Ice. I'm a couple
the
years
time.
younger, and he told me he was like, "There's a couple of dudes in my grade, because dudes used to hate on me because I was always a smooth
All
dude.
the time, yeah.
But there was certain dudes that were just real, and they were like, "Yo, real recognize real."
Yeah.
So there were a couple dudes in his year that be like, "Yo, why you always chilling with Nick? Like, why?"
We know why.
And he'd be like,
Drake.
"Yo." He'd be like, "Yo, that's my man's. Like, he's cool or whatever." And then I never forgot about that because I'm like, "Yo, you might have 3 people that feel a certain type of way about one person." And you decide, like, nah, I don't care how y'all feel. Like, this is my homie.
And then when you comfortable in yourself, if we're going to use Ice always had a certain, he was always who he was.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, another person who's the same way, it's like I said, it's like the All-Star game.
Exactly.
I don't give if I'm KD, all right, LeBron over there, Westbrook
Right.
over there, Ja Morant, I'm
You
KD.
comfortable in your own skin.
All right.
So, yeah.
We don't have those type of situations.
Right.
No inferiorness.
Exactly. I hate being around energy that you feel like you got to dim your light around. Not
Yeah,
everybody
I'm
should.
not dimming shit. That's my whole, I used to do that, but I'm not doing it. I love me, and you should love you too. I don't need you to love me. I love me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Love yourself. Work on you. Take your time. Close some of them tabs out on your brain and focus on you for once. Enough is Normal Podcast, baby. We back at it, man. It was a pleasure. It's always a pleasure getting up with my young boy. He's doing big things. Be on the lookout April 10th. And yeah, man. What channel?
CBS.
CBS. Wow.
Yeah.
You heard what Ho said. I keep one eye open like CBS. We out of here.
All right.